two main things that you learn when you first start boxing: jab and footwork.
I don't think it was anything that really put him in danger, but it certainly spoiled his usual momentum that he's able to build and really destroy people with.
Thank you, Michael. This is Raina Roan with your KO Fightcast.
You learn it from YouTube. Somebody gonna break your jaw while you trying to throw the uppercut on the left foot.
So, I mean, I think that you probably see the best. You may just see the best at ROA. Maybe, I don't know.
Welcome back to Knockouts Unlimited. I'm your host, Michael Opdyke.
I'm your host, Joshua Burns.
And joining us today is Big Sugar Ray Phillips. Now, we're here to talk about one of the most exciting boxing matches that has taken place in a while, highly anticipated and well contested. That is the Errol Spence Jr. Terrence Crawford fight. Now, gentlemen, going into this fight, both these fighters had undefeated records. Neither of them had been knocked down in any of their professional bouts. Somebody's O had to go.
Yes, sir.
Josh. Yes. This was excellent. Excellent work from Terrence Crawford.
Yes,
he had it handily the entire fight.
Yes, he did. And this is why they say fighters must fight the fight. We just can't give people victories, because if you give somebody a victory, that's not how it turns out all the time. Terrence Crawford came out with a good game plan, masterful game plan, and he executed it. Errol Spence did not look like the Errol Spence where you were used to seeing, but that's not taking anything away from Terrence Crawford. He did exactly what a champion's supposed to do. He went out there, he dominated, and he showed that he's the most skillful fighter out there.
Sugar Ray, earlier we were talking about your thoughts on Errol Spence's training camp. Can you go over that a little bit with us now?
Yes. See, Errol Spencer, first of all, he didn't have the right sparring partners, and he shouldn't have been training here in Texas. Seemed like he was drained before he got into the fight. Not taking anything from Bud, but looked like he was already tired. If you look in his eyes, they was glossy. If he'd have went to Big Bear like Muhammad Ali, all of us trainers, we train in Colorado Springs. To prepare for a fight, we go someplace. We don't stay home in our hometown, and certainly here in Texas and all that heat. So when Earl got in that ring, he wasn't Errol Spencer, I know, but Errol Spencer didn't fight his fight. He should have been, when a southpaw fight a southpaw, both of them got the right foot forward, but he got more height than I do, so you have to take a step over and hit him with the right hook and get out of the way of his jab. You can't, if you pull back, you're going to get hit every time with the jab. I've been in world champions corners from Don Curry, Stevie Cruz, all the world champions out of Texas, a lot of world champions in Las Vegas, Michael Dokes and all the rest of the heavyweight world champions. I've been around training camps all my life, and you got to have positive people in that corner, in your corner. You can't have somebody in the corner who don't know anything about boxing. They either have to be a boxer themselves, been around boxing all their life, and they listen to all of us communicate when we sit on this stool together. So they say, man, look the way he's jabbing. He hit him with that stiff jab. With the stiff jab, you slip the stiff jab, but you have to move your right foot over here on a southpaw and hit both of them with southpaws. But if you let him stop that, bam, that power jab. See, he wasn't pow. He was bam. He was hitting it. That's how he knocked him down with a power jab.
Wouldn't it be right to say that Crawford trained differently for Spence's fight? He even said it in one of his comments post-fight that he trained to throw a different jab. He used to throw a flickering jab. And he had to throw a powerful jab because Spence was so powerful and strong. So it was to give credit to Crawford. He did what he had to do in training camp to prepare to throwing a solid jab to keep Spence from throwing his jab.
But okay, sir, you're right what you said. But it's up to us when he come back in the corner. Spence, he's not hitting you with the flicking, he's hitting you with that stiff jab, knocking you back. So what you do when he hit stiff jab, don't pull back, you get hit. Slide your right foot, both of y'all got your right foot right here. Slide over here like that, and then come with the hook. If not, come with the right hand, come with your left hand. If not, come with it right into the stomach. But it's all done in hundreds of seconds, and it's done in training and practice. We watching the films, and it come from the corner. Your corner is the one who win you fights. Your corner. You done train, but just one little simple thing can turn a fight like Johnny Bumpers was beating Gene Hatchett. We told Gene, listen, take away Johnny's jab, take away his jab, and we're going to knock him out. Sure enough, we like to kill Johnny Bumpers. And he was a 20-1 favorite to beat us against Gene Hatchett, the Mad Dog. We call him in Fort Worth, Texas. It's just the idea of once you get in competition, anybody can talk. But once the action jump, it's a whole different ball game. It's a whole different. Go ahead, sir.
Kind of jump on that comment with once the action kind of picks up. I feel like that knockdown that Crawford got in the second round really kind of set the pace for the rest of the fight.
It did, and by him saying that he was going to go out there and take Spence's jab away from him, using his jab was a good game plan. Because if you notice, Spence leads and he starts everything with a jab. He's so fundamental when it comes to the basic fundamentals of boxing. And because Crawford and his team knew that and they understood that, their game plan was to take that jab away from him and see how he could adapt to you. By the time that Spence knew what was going on, it was too late. He was already starting to be dominated by Crawford at that time.
But see, this is where your corner come in. You come back here. You watching Bud Crawford. Both of us is watching Spencer. So you should say Sugar Ray. So he's hitting him with that power jab. All right, now take away his power jab. You have to learn how to take away his power jab. If you don't know how to take away his power jab, we tell him in the corner, you got to step over here. You can't pull back. He's going to hit you right on the chin. If you pull back, you slide. Give him more angles. Give him more angles. And then fire sometime and fire you, but be going forward at the same time. You can't back up beating the guy that got a longer reach than you. You got to take it to him. Like Joe Frazier did against Mama, like Ray Leonard did against Tommy Hearns. You got to take it to a guy with that longer reach.
Now, certainly we have a lot of thoughts about how Spence could improve his game. But what's next for them? What do you think is next for Crawford?
Next for Crawford depends on who's out there and what he wants to do.
Mm-hmm.
They both automatically already said they plan on moving up. So let's see what Crawford decides to do. If he wants to take the challenge and fight one of the younger guys at 47 to retain his title, defend his titles, let's see if he does that. But I think he wants to go up to 154. Him and Jermell Charlo have been having words back and forth. So, and that's the intent, I believe, that Crawford will go.
Well, certainly there's room for improvement from Spence to get back into the game. He has the rematch clause in his contract. I imagine we'll see these two fighters meet up again. Will Crawford take another fight before then? Who knows? But for now, let's hear a word from our sponsors.
I am not a star. I don't want to be a star. I don't have a great name. The media have never heard of me. No public, no cheerleaders. It's not about winning or losing. It's about reaching your limits, going as far as you can go, and then going farther. I don't collect titles, I collect hours. Hours of hard work, hours of pain. That's just me. I'm playing for the ultimate victory. The victory over yourself. This is a way of life. There is no finish line. Becoming the best that you can be. There's nothing else that matters. Beating the odds, fulfilling your destiny. I don't want to be a superstar. I want to be better than that. Just want to be me. Just want to be me.
Welcome back. Moving right along with some of the other notable fights that have taken place lately, we're going to be talking about Fulton versus Inoue. Now, Josh, this was an excellent fight to see. Inoue is always fun to watch. They call him the monster. They ought to call him the body snatcher. The man does not miss with those punches to the body, and it just opens up everything going upstairs.
You can give Inoue any name you want as long as it's a positive name. Because the guy is bringing nothing but positivity into the ring, and he's bringing dynamite with his punches. He showed he had a good game plan. He showed that he understands boxing. Going against Fulton, we expected Fulton to use a lot of lateral movement, which he did, and keep him off with that jab and just basic fundamentals of boxing. But Inoue found a way to get inside and dictate what he wanted to do within that ring. And it was a great performance from him, but he did show why he's called the Little Monster.
Absolutely. And Sugar Ray, as you see these fighters from the lower weight classes, within Inoue's case, where he started at 108 and moved up to 124 and still maintains that knockout power in both his hands, how do these fighters continue to maintain such a crisp technical pace as they move up?
Well, see, they get personal trainers, strength trainers, and they show them angles, and when they be working, they work with angles to that body. And if you get a good body puncher, he can weigh 106, 112, 118. When he hits you in your liver, and your kidney, and your solar plex, you're going to feel it because he's sitting down on his shots. So a great body puncher, you may see a fighter dance, pop, 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 get away for a while, but you go to hit him in his body. And then pretty soon he say, well, I'm out of gas. Yeah, I know you're out of gas. I put something in your tank to unloosen you to make you run out of gas. Yeah, put them body shots in there on you. So if you get a good fighter that works that body, like y'all said, the fighter work that body, he's going to wear you down. It's just a matter of time.
Exactly.
Just like the Spence Crawford fight we talked about earlier, both fighters came into this fight with a perfect record. And so once again, we had another fighter who had to lose that.
Yes.
But Inoue became the unified super bantamweight champion at this point, and now he's a 4-division champion. What's next for him?
Yeah. The next is everything that he wants to be next. He has all opportunities. Because he's a small guy, though, let's not get carried away. I saw a lot of comments about him needing Tank Davis and all that stuff. Let the guy grow into these weight classes. Let him grow into the weight division before we start putting him up against some of the top elites at the higher weight classes. Yes, it's only 13 pounds, but 13 pounds for these little guys is a lot. That's a big weight difference. That's a big difference in power. Yes, we want to see the excitement between these fighters, and Inoue is an exciting fighter. Tank is an explosive fighter. Yes, I would love to see that, but I don't want to see that at the expense of somebody that's little and we're trying to end their career. I do not want to do that to anyone. I like seeing him. I want to continue to see him fight. But let's be realistic and get him fights within his weight classes and build him up to get stronger and better each time.
Moving right along, we had Kambosos Jr. versus Maxie Hughes. Now, coming into this fight, Maxie Hughes was on a 7-fight win streak, and Kambosos was on a 2-fight losing streak. He had truly snatched greatness when he beat Teofimo Lopez, but then lost 2 times in a row to Devin Haney with a unanimous decision. Now, Sugar Ray, in this fight, we saw Maxie Hughes execute an almost flawless game plan from an open stance, maintaining a good southpaw principles, keeping his lead foot on the outside, letting his rear hand come straight down the pipe. And one of the things that I love that he did was he would use a double right lead where he would hit the third lead hand and then put a jab behind it.
Mm-hmm. But see, a lot of people don't realize that when you in a position where you done won 7 fights, he done lost 2 fights, you take a guy lightly. You won't train as hard as you should when you see a guy he have lost 2 in a row. And now you say, well, I done won 7 in a row. He take a guy for granted, but he don't know that guy that just lost that 2 in a row. He could be hungry for you. And he may have your style down packed in his mind where he can really beat you. And you'd be surprised how a fighter can lose 7 fights. You fight a fighter who's 25-0, he come up and knock you out like Buster Douglas did Mike Tyson. I'm just showing you how you can get energized when sometime in the big arena. And they fight on them big cards. They fight on TV. They fight on Showtime. They fight on pay-per-view. I mean, they get big time. And once they do that adrenaline go through them, ain't no stopping them.
Absolutely. And Josh, certainly, it seems like, based on the judges' scorecard, that they were watching a different fight than what we saw. I mean, how do you reconcile what we got?
And so I try not to criticize the judges that much, but we have to do a better job judging. And yes, I understand that you can see a fight from different angles because there are 3 different sides of the ring, but we can't totally miss the fight. You know, if you're looking at it, you can't miss the fight. You can't miss certain things that fighters are doing. I thought Hughes did a good job boxing. I thought he represented for himself well. Now we know who Maxie Hughes is. Mm-hmm. Now we know that he went out there and he displayed good boxing skills, and he showed that Kambosos doesn't belong anywhere in conversation for title shots or big paydays. It does not. And we see Hughes did that. Hughes let us know that this guy wasn't on my level. Mm-hmm. So he cannot be on these other guys' level. But he did open up opportunities for himself to get a bigger payday.
Well, certainly we hope that this does increase the stock of Max Hughes. I think that this showed that he is ready to step up and kind of begin competing in that upper echelon.
Yes.
Again, I cannot say enough how beautifully technical he did in this fight. So if you haven't watched it, you absolutely should. Now, we're going to take another quick break to hear from our sponsors, but make sure to come back.
Jason, let's go see your room.
What do you think? We kept it a little spare, so you can decorate it how you like.
Dinner!
Go?
Excellent. Soccer is fun. Yeah, I saw you guys out there. We're the family. We're the family.
Yeah!
Oh, I thought you were on my team.
Take me away somewhere nice, somewhere that I can go.
Welcome back. All right. Now, let's talk about the swan song of an amazing boxer, Teofimo Lopez, Josh Taylor. This was an excellent fight. We had Josh Taylor coming in off of a 1-year layoff against Teofimo Lopez, who, at the start of the fight, looked like he was a little hesitant to get going, but then once he pulled the trigger, it was his fight for the rest of the night. Josh, we saw classic Teofimo Lopez where he got comfortable, he got in his rhythm. We saw a little bit of showboating. We saw him move around the ring, everything we wanted to see from Teofimo Lopez.
Yes, we did. We saw a Teo that was confident. That was the difference. We saw a confident Teo. You know, before when he asked his father if he still had it, that was a Teo that we saw that was doubting himself. Mm-hmm. This fight did not show any doubt at all. He went out there and he dominated. He showed Josh Taylor that he belonged at that weight class, and he was coming in to take everything that Taylor had. And to Taylor's defense, Taylor did not look like the Taylor in previous fights. I don't know what was going on with him, but even if the Taylor was to show up, I don't think it would have done anything with Lopez. So Lopez was on his game. He had a tremendous game plan, and he hit him with shots. I really do think the power was the difference, because Lopez hit Josh Taylor with shots that I saw Taylor kind of hesitant after that.
Well, it did feel like at the start of the fight that Taylor was able to be or tried to be at least, very physical in the way that he worked with Lopez. Tried to work, holding his head down, because Lopez likes to get his head low and then come up for a big shot. And we saw the referee kind of stymie that early on. Sugar Ray, when you're trying to play physical like that and the ref keeps telling you can't do it, what do you take your strategy be at that point?
Well, see, the referees nowadays, they get too involved in these fights. Let the fighter fight. Let him fight his fight. You throw him out of his game plan. One guy could say, all right, we're going to hit him to the body. One guy say, we're going to go upside his head, left and right. But if the referee, hold it, you're doing this, you're doing that, you see, not changing the subject, but a fighter, he had to be comfortable once he's in there hitting you with them body shots. And if the referee keep pulling you away, the other fighter going to start hitting you with uppercuts.
But Sugar Ray, let me interrupt you real quick.
Go ahead, sir.
We know Josh Taylor now, he's known for fighting dirty. He will touch the borderline of that. Having people head down and trying to hit them. That right there, yes, the ref should step in and touch that. And in your day and age, people doing everything to win a fight. Anything.
By any means, punching the kneecap. By any means,
yes, they would. Now, I do think the refs are kind of knowledgeable of that now, and they're trying to put a halt to that soon when it happens, especially if they see it intentionally. And it's intentional, then yes, I do like the refs to step in there. Now, I don't want them stepping in when it happens the first time or second time. I want to see that pattern. So when you see that pattern of Taylor pulling his head down, then that's when you're like, no, strong warning, man. And then because that fighter is intentionally doing that.
Well, certainly an excellent fight. And again, a great win to go out for Teofimo Lopez.
Yes.
Now, let's move to another fight that had true shock and awe with its presentation, and that is Tszyu versus Ocampo. Now, when we last saw Tszyu, it was in March, fighting against Tony Harrison.
Tszyu versus who?
Ocampo. Tim Tszyu.
Did that fight even happen?
That did. The Ocampo fight.
Oh, that was one round. That's right.
You beat me to the punch. He beat me to the punch. You did to Ocampo. Josh is right, though. One round, and barely a round. I think it was a minute and a half.
Yes, what can we say? We didn't get enough to talk about. I mean, where's the dialogue with this other than Tszyu is serious?
I've got this interim belt, but I'm not satisfied. I want all four. And it's not just the belts. I literally just want the name Charlo on my resume.
Tszyu is coming for Charlo. He wants Jermell Charlo. You notice after the fight, he said, I did it faster than your stablemate. Spence fought Ocampo. Spence stopped him, but it was later in the fight. Tszyu did it in one round.
Well, I think that kind of leads us into what do we have open in that division? What do we have next for Tszyu? You said Charlo. How do you see that playing?
I see that playing out real well for Charlo if that fight was to happen. But we do know Jermell Charlo has taken the assignment of fighting Canelo now. So that opens up the door for possibly Terrence Crawford if he wants to move up. That's a belt, that's a title that Tszyu has. That would be a fun fight. Very interesting fight. We know Tszyu has power, but Tszyu doesn't have the boxing experience that Crawford has.
I think you can point to that even in this fight. In the short time he was in the ring, we saw Tszyu land that laser-sharp cross. And then, once he spilled blood in the water, he went for the finish. And he got kind of wild, and he missed about 8 punches. Then when he calmed down and threw another one of those crisp right hands, he put Ocampo out.
And Tszyu leaves himself open a lot. And as Sugar Ray can attest to that, you leave yourself open with a good, fundamentally sound counterpuncher with power like Crawford,
you go get tagged.
Exactly. Oh, I like how you jumped in. Yes, Crawford isn't the person to drop your hands with and throw incorrect punches on. That can be a disaster for Tim Tszyu. He would never get to a undisputed title against Charlo if he doesn't correct those things and if he goes up against Crawford.
Certainly. Well, speaking of Charlo, there was a very interesting press conference the other day with Caleb Plant and Charlo. And what did we see happen? We saw quite the fireworks take place.
Well, again, that was Jamal Charlo there.
Yeah.
Jamal right now is not active because of mental health reasons. Yes, but wow, does this set up an oncoming fight? Plant versus Charlo? Who knows? Because the outside of ring activity that happened over the past weekend, it definitely warrants a fight.
Sugar Ray, certainly in your day, there must have been antics that took place outside of the ring. But to have somebody open hand slap you.
That's the worst feeling in the world. Somebody take your hand, open hand slap you. You want to just forget about the purse. You just want to start fighting right there. And just forget about the purse. You insulted my manhood slapping me. I got there. You want to slap him back, but you get busted up, hitting each other in a street fight, and then you done missed out on $10 million, $5 million.
So certainly that must drive some level of motivation to win that $10 million, $5 million.
What are you talking about? That right there give you all the motivation. Okay. You said, okay. Like Sonny Liston, he slapped Muhammad Ali in Caesar's Palace before the fight. And after that, Ali he said, I got him. And Ali said, no, I got you now. You motivated me.
Well, certainly. We've recapped several exciting fights. This has been a great period for boxing, and it looks like there's only better fights coming in the future.
Yes.
So as always, thank you for tuning in. This has been Knockouts Unlimited. I'm your host, Michael Opdyke.
I'm your host, Joshua Burns.
Big Sugar Ray Phillips.
Thank you, and keep watching.
This episode of Knockouts Unlimited was brought to you by the Blue Planet Media Group.